Hello everybody, it is Mrs. Wilson, and today we're going to be talking about multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. Now we're going to be talking about multiplying fractions by a fraction by a whole number, and also fraction by mixed numbers and mixed numbers by mixed numbers. It's actually a lot easier than you think, and there are some important things to remember when you're doing this. The first one is that you need to make your mixed numbers into improper fractions in order to multiply, and you'll see why shortly. When we do multiply, we are multiplying across. So multiply across. And then as you're trying to figure out word problems, if you come across this word of actually means multiply. So you will see how this will all work out. So in our first example problem right here, 1/2 of 4. Now if you just think on your own, if you had to take half of 4, you know that if you had a group of 4, so my 4 dots over here, if I had to take half of this group, I know that there would be 2 things in that group. So now we're going to show mathematically how this actually works out. So we said that of means multiply, so I replaced my of with a multiplication symbol. So now we're figuring 1/2 times 4. We're going to then write our 4 with 4 in the numerator and a 1 in the denominator. And then I just said that you need to multiply across. So all we're going to do is 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. There's no common denominator needed for fractions. You can just simply multiply across. And now you're left with 4 over 2. You know that 4 over 2 means 4 divided by 2, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we just showed the mathematical work for 1/2 of 4. Now we're going to do 2/3 of 6. So 2/3 of 6 means 2/3 times 6. We're actually going to rewrite this. So we have 2/3 times, we know we write 6 as 6 over 1. And when we multiply across, we get 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 1 is 3. You get 12 over 3. We can write 12 over 3 as 12 divided by 3 because you know that this little line means divided by. And 12 divided by 3 is 4. So your answer in this case of 2/3 of 6 is 4. We can prove that with a picture because if I had 6 dots and I was splitting them into thirds. So if these are my thirds. If I needed 2/3, 1/2, I would have 4 dots. So you can also show this with a picture. Okay, so now we're going to move into multiplying a fraction by a fraction. This is with no whole numbers. And I simply have to remember that I have to just multiply across. So when I do this, 3 times 4 is 12. 8 times 7 is 56. Now, this could be my answer, but I need to say to myself, okay, is this in simplest form? Well, I know both of these numbers are even numbers, so it can't possibly be in simplest form. So since they're both even and I can't think of anything else they divide by right now, I'm going to divide them both by 2 over 2. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. 56 divided by 2 is 28. Okay, they're both still even, so I can do it again. Divided by 2 over 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 28 divided by 2 is 14. This is now in simplest form, and I know this because 3 is a prime number, and 3 does not go into 14, so 3/14. So the answer to my problem, 3/8 times 4/7 in simplest form, is 3/14. So the last way that I'm going to show you how to do this today is we've got 2 mixed numbers. Now the easiest way to do this is to change these mixed numbers into improper fractions. So the strategy that I'm going to help you figure this out is I like to call it ride the Ferris wheel. So we're going to pretend we're getting on the Ferris wheel with our friend. And our friend is the 5. We say to our friend, we're going to have a great time. So 5 times 3 is 15. We're going to add a little more fun by stopping at the top. So we had 5 times 3 is 15. Plus 2 is 17. And you know when you ride a Ferris wheel, they always stop you up at the top and they make you wait. So we're going to stop at the top and write down that number. So 5 times 3 is 15 plus 2 is 17. when you get off the Ferris wheel, you're going to get off with that same friend you get on with. We don't switch partners in the middle of a Ferris wheel ride. So we're going to get off with our friend, the 5. So the denominator does not change. Then we're going to do the same thing over here. So 7 is our friend. We're going to have a great time. 7 times 2 is 14. Add a little more fun. So 7 times 2 is 14, plus 4 is 18. Get off with your same friend, the 7. Okay, so now we're looking at this and we're going, woof, we've got some big numbers, and we do, and it's okay. We can work through this. I know that my denominator is going to be 35. So I'm just going to do my multiplication here on the side to do 17 times 18. So bear with me. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 plus 3 is 13. Placeholder 0, 7, 1. So I think we get 306. Now you might be saying 306 over 35 is still an improper fraction, and it is. So we're going to divide it out. So 306 divided by 35. Okay, 35 does not go into 3. It does not go into 30. So we have to figure out how many times. So I'm going to do some estimation here. 35, I know, is about 40. So if I think about this, maybe it goes in 8 times. So I'm going to do 35 times 8 over here. Just some estimation. So 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 3 is 24. This is 280. And it does. It goes in 8 times. So then 280. When I subtract, I get 26. So it's remainder 26. And I'm going to use this to help me rewrite what my final product is. So it went in a total of 8 total times with 26 left over out of 35. So we just figured out the product of 3 and 2/5 times 2 and 4/7 is 8 and 26 35ths. We can use some estimation to help us here. So I'm just going to pick a different color here really quick. So 3 and 2/5 is about 3. And then 2 and 4/7 is about 3 also. 3 times 3 is 9. So our estimate should be close to 9. And you can see that when we multiply this out, our actual answer is very close to 9. So that's another way for you to check. Alrighty, so there is your multiplying fractions and mixed numbers.